This is Core Conversations with Natalie Baggio.
Welcome to this episode of Core Conversations, and today I'm joined by Dr. Craig Klein, our Medical Director of Trauma. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks, Natalie. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great to see you.
Yep.
So, one reason that I thought it'd be great for you to join me on the podcast and be able to share with the community is about general surgery.
Yeah.
And I know you do a lot more than just general surgery, but I want the community to know what that means, where we're offering these services, and the great innovations that you and the other physicians have brought to Southwest Michigan.
Yeah. A lot of people don't understand what general surgery is. They hear general surgery and they think, are you a generalist? Does that mean that you're not a specialist yourself? General surgery is actually a very complex specialty in and of itself. We operate, I say, on the skin and its contents, but that really means that we operate on many different parts of the body. We have a broad knowledge of general surgery. And our main areas of focus would be hernias, gallbladders, appendix surgery, colorectal surgery, breast surgery, including breast cancer, thyroid surgery, parathyroid surgery, trauma, gastric surgery, and we do many of those with the robotic platform, which I'm sure we'll talk about later.
Well, that's a very wide spectrum and large specialty in which you and many of your partners are providing services here in Southwest Michigan. First, how long have you been here, and how long have you been a surgeon, a general surgeon?
Yeah, this July I will have been here for 15 years. This is the first job that I had out of residency, so I did my medical training, both medical school and residency in Detroit, inner city Detroit. And I actually heard about Lakeland and Corewell through a classmate of mine whose father was a pediatrician here in town. Okay. So she told me about him and the practice, Southwest Medical Clinic, and that's what really drew me. I didn't grow up too far from here, so I am from a small town called Mendon, which is just south of Kalamazoo.
Okay.
My wife is from Schoolcraft, so both small communities in Southwest Michigan. So coming back closer to home was great, but also just coming and seeing our facility, the size of town that we're in, the great location. It was a win-win. It was a match all around.
Yeah, well, Southwest Michigan's a pretty magical place.
Yeah.
It's very beautiful, and I've lived here now almost 9 years.
Yeah.
And I honestly can't imagine not being able to have access to water and sand and all the beautiful activities you can do outdoors.
It's a beautiful place. In fact, funny story, my wife and I just got back from a spring break trip where we took our kids to Europe. We were in Cinque Terre in Italy, and we sat down at this beautiful restaurant, and our waiter came up, and when he knew that we were from Michigan, he said, I've been to this magical place named St. Joseph, and he talked about the train and the beach and the restaurants, and it was crazy to be halfway around the world in a place that I thought was one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to, and hear our waiter talk about how he loved St. Joseph, and it's a wonderful place. It's a wonderful place to live, to practice.
Well, that's a great story to be traveling internationally and have your hometown recognized as a beautiful spot
Proud
geographically. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So you mentioned all the different types of specialties that go into general surgery, and you briefly touched on robotics. And I know that's one of the innovations that you and your partners have brought here to Southwest Michigan. Do you want to share what that means and what the quality outcomes are because of that?
That's a huge part of our practice. We were actually on the forefront of adopting the robotic platform here. In fact, I think we were one of the first hospitals anywhere in the country to have a robotic platform, in an outpatient setting. We now in our Niles location have a Da Vinci robot. In our St. Joseph location, we have 3 Da Vinci robots, including the most advanced Da Vinci platform, the DV5. We offer almost all surgeries with a robotic, minimally invasive approach. And in fact, some of the newer technologies that come through the Corewell system, we get to pioneer here, including some of our smaller robotic staplers, which are used for many intra-abdominal surgeries, some of the interfaces that we have within the robotic platform to collaborate with other providers. We have wholly bought into the minimally invasive approach with the robotic platform. In fact, some of my colleagues and I just went to a conference held by the Cleveland Clinic, and it's interesting to see how far ahead we are of even big academic centers who are still doing traditional laparoscopic surgery and haven't adopted some of the more advanced techniques that we've been doing for years. An interesting thing about our practice is some people may not realize how big it is. You think local means small. It doesn't mean small. Our team of general surgeons, including our surgeons and our APs, we have 11. We just added a brand new general surgeon. So that's 7 surgeons, 4 advanced practice providers. That's a pretty big team.
Absolutely. And that's just in the St. Joe location.
Just in the St. Joe location.
Right.
There are other surgeons that are down in our Niles location too, with advanced practice providers there. And all of us, both in the St. Joe location and the Niles location, are committed to the robotic approach. It's not like you might, see some of us that do these approaches and you have to wonder, am I even going to get the right person? We all have bought in and we all do the same approach to these surgeries, which is really helpful. It allows a lot of collaboration. We're all on the same page, just a united front of trying to push the envelope forward to offer patients the ability to have surgery with smaller incisions, less pain, and a quicker recovery.
Yeah, and I think that's part of why robotic surgery makes such a difference in patients is because they have a shorter stay in the hospital, or some cases are outpatient, right?
Yes.
Because of robotic surgery, and a quicker turnaround time to healing and getting back to their general day-to-day activity. So you and the team have just done an amazing job. I know I get to see a lot of the analytics behind it. So it's not just, it's what you feel or what you see. Like these types of machines and innovations can show you like how well you're performing and how you benchmark against each other and other surgeons nationally, which is really fascinating to me.
Without getting too technical, some of the new innovations that are coming, we're already adopting here in our location. So smaller staplers, smaller incisions, we're always looking to try to push the ball forward. And I think having a big team, even though we are a large surgical team, we collaborate even between the Niles locations and the St. Joe locations. And all of us are looking to push the envelope forward. We're not looking to stay stagnant. We're always looking to see what improvements are out there, what new technologies can we adopt for the benefit of our patients.
Well, it's a pleasure to be able to work with a physician like yourself and other physicians and APPs on your team, because my passion is leading innovation, but also keeping care close to home that drives the highest level of quality outcomes. And when you've talked about your innovations, like what type of quality outcomes have you been benchmarked against nationally that you could share with the community?
Yeah, we do really well. So a couple things to know. We are a level 3 trauma center within the American College of Surgeons. So we're not just certified by the state, but also by the American College of Surgeons, which is a higher level to be certified by. We have a very broad range of surgical specialties too. So you want to know not just is my general surgery team going to provide the highest level of care, but what other specialties do we have? We really have everything. And that's the beauty of practicing, I think, at our hospitals is we have a great interventional radiology team, orthopedic surgeons, neurosurgeons, cardiothoracic surgeons, cardiovascular surgeons, a GI team. And so that all, you can get a lot of the services here and you don't necessarily have to go elsewhere to get them. Yeah. We have a great breast cancer program that looks to provide women with great surgical outcomes, including, if needed, chemotherapy, radiation, plastic surgery. All of that is part of what we offer. It's really a comprehensive program. The same for colorectal surgery. And it's really that team approach and that collaboration that can provide patients the best care and just give them the assurance that they're getting the care that they need. And obviously, as we are plugged into the larger Corewell system, that allows for collaboration if needed with tertiary care centers. Yeah. Many times, though, that's not needed. Patients can get everything that they need right here locally in Berrien County.
Yeah, it's really wonderful. And thank you for leading that. And thank you for being on the podcast today to share that with our community. If anyone's interested in reaching out or getting an opinion or seeing someone, what is the best way for them to do that?
They can always come to our office. In the St. Joe location, our office is actually in the hospital. So it's
Okay.
really easy to find. It's a brand new, beautiful office. We would love to sit down with you and talk through any issues that you may have and discuss what surgical and sometimes even non-surgical options might be available for you, for whatever condition you're facing. The same is true in Niles. Sitting down face-to-face, we love to have that. We have clinic there very often.
Yeah.
You can also find us on the website.
Okay.
But and we're very available. That's one of the things that I think is a benefit of our smaller town approach. We have actually a bigger hospital than you might realize,
Yeah.
but with a smaller town approach. We're very approachable, and through the MyChart app, we can be emailed or contacted or texted directly throughout the day if needed. So I spend a lot of my day making sure that patients understand if they have questions. We want to be a medical team that is available to answer any questions. And that's one of the benefit of having advanced practice providers too, is even if we're in the operating room, they're always there at the bedside available to talk to patients and their family, just so that we're just a phone call away.
Well, thank you for reinforcing your commitment to personalized care and making patients feel comfortable that they are getting the right level of care with the right information, education. But as you mentioned, MyChart's a game changer.
Yeah.
It really opens up those lines of communication, which completely supports the mission in which we're trying to accomplish here in Southwest Michigan. Thank you very much for being
Thanks,
here
Natalie.
today. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Core Conversations, and we will see you next week.